Hi, Tara. How are you doing today?
Oh, really well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, keeping busy. So maybe you could start off by giving some of our new audience a bit about the background overview about Banyan Gold.
Sure. Banyan Gold's a Yukon-focused gold explorer. We're really focused on advancing our AurMac project, which is really close to Victoria Gold, less than 25 kilometers as the crow flies. Same age of mineralization, very similar to them. It's an on-surface, near-surface, potential open pit mineable project. We had a resource of 900,000 ounces of 0.54 that we published in 2020. And since then, we've drilled over 40 kilometers of drilling up to last year, which will go into our resource update, which is coming Q2 here. So we're super excited about that. And we're already over 17,000 meters into our 2022 drill program this year. So a really well-positioned company with exciting news flow through 2022.
Great to hear. I know that you have quite a bit of experience working in Yukon. You can tell us a bit more why you like the place so much in terms of exploration there, the potential.
Well, mineral potential is the first thing, with Victoria Gold and, being in that district. I think it really is Canada's newest mining district. Victoria Gold, that's a very large land package with lots of mineralization. We can see it with the exploration that we're doing, that they're doing on their property, and that we're doing, finding also a district scale regional potential deposits. The fact that there's a place in Canada which has such fabulous infrastructure, we've got roads, we've got a highway right across our property, even cell phone service, and you're still making new discoveries, really shows you that there's a lot more to be found out there. So, our discovery at Powerline, which is our greatest resource growth right now, was only made in 2019. So this is a new discovery that we're advancing very, very quickly. And this jurisdiction is one where we've got settled First Nations land claims, which means that there's an established process for permitting, working with First Nations. The First Nation here works with two other mines, Alexco and Victoria Gold. So that experience and the fact that you can permit it, it's a first world country, there's going to be lots of concerns with some jurisdictions that are less politically stable. It's a huge advantage for working in the Yukon.
Let's share with us some of your recent news, especially on the drilling side, on the AurMac properties.
So, this week we put out those results with 21 meters of 3 grams, which really shows that there are some higher grade areas in this project. That's been one of with the overall resource grade currently at 0.54, people were like, well, is it high enough grade to mine? And we just need to look down the road to Victoria Gold. Their life of mine grade in their feasibility study was 0.63. So, in that press release, that 3 gram material, we had some 1.28, big long intersections where the Powerline deposit, which is most of our drill results are coming from, is very consistent. We've been drilling basically a grid of 100-meter step out holes, continuing to expand that inferred resource that we plan to put out in our Q2 resource here. And we're seeing that it's very consistent, which is what you want in a bulk heap leach project, is very consistent mineralization. We're seeing these big, wide intercepts, and we're continuing to see that. And pretty soon we're going to have 2022 results already, because we started drilling in January. So we're unique because we're a year-round exploration story. So, we don't have that big seasonality that lots of Yukon plays that don't benefit from the infrastructure that we have suffer from. So, we're going to have 22 results starting in May and going all through the year, which is a huge advantage. And it also helps us guide our next drill results by being able to get those results back quickly.
Pretty exciting stuff ahead. So you mentioned a bit about the First Nation in the Yukon. Maybe you can talk about, is it an ongoing community work over there, working with those groups?
That is a really important part of permitting nowadays. There's the science part of permitting, which I think is the easier part, and the relationships in the community is so important. I was actually just in the Yukon yesterday. I was at the Arctic Indigenous Investment Conference and talking about some of the work that we're doing and talking with the development corporations and some community members. And, community work is something that we're ongoing, doing everything from training and hiring from the community and making accommodations for, some in work schedules, which we're able to do because we're small, for people from the community, so that we're getting that engagement, talking with the First Nation about our plans early and often. We have regular communications with their lands department, with their counselors. That is a really important part for any explorer nowadays. And we really benefit that this First Nation has experience working with other companies. They have existing agreements. So, we're following a bit of a path that's already had some experience, which is a huge advantage. And, our reputation is really important in the community. So we've worked hard through that, all through COVID, making sure that despite the fact that we had to communicate virtually like this, we were present.
Yeah, investors also interested about mostly the exit strategy for companies like Banyan Gold. Maybe tell us, are you going to follow footsteps of Victoria Gold, build it up, or possibly trying to be acquired by other major companies as well?
So important point in that, Gilbert, is that I'm really heavily vested to make money alongside my shareholders. I'm a 5.5% shareholder, and I'm the third CEO, so I didn't get any founders stock. I purchased all of that in the market. And since I became CEO, including investing $900,000 in private placements and in the market in the last 2 years alone. So that is an important, it was how is your CEO of the company motivated? That makes me want to consider all options and what is the best outcome for our shareholders. Our team has all the skill sets to take this forward through permitting, feasibilities, the next 3 to 4 years, continuing to add value. And we know we can add value over the course of that time. Would I build the mine like Victoria Gold did? I'm not a mine builder, but I'm a big shareholder. So if I'm going to interview to replace myself, I know some great mine builders. That's one potential option for Banyan if it's to follow the footsteps of Victoria Gold and build a mine, which is possible. What we're doing, I think for now, I've always thought that 3 million ounces was when a project was a standalone project in the Yukon, because that's what Victoria Gold had when they built. And maybe that's 5 million now for the majors, because they need to see larger scale projects. I think this project has that potential. So I think that we're going to have that scale to give us that option. But honestly, as we grow, I think the majors are already starting to look at us. And of course, Victoria Gold, they're a 13% shareholder. At some point, they're going to look at us as well, because if they're a 200,000 ounce per year or 250 with their new program, if we come out with, let's say, a 3 million ounce, you could then potentially get to a PEA where you've got that 10 years at 200,000 ounces. Well, that's doubling their production rate in their neighborhood. So obviously we're going to be of interest. And so for me, I think it's important that we aggressively, and people have asked, why are you drilling so aggressively this spring? I'm like, well, because we have to get big and show the potential of this, because that's how we get the greatest value for our shareholders. But as a CEO, if you get offers, you need to always be considering what the best option is for your shareholders at the time. So, I'm pretty motivated to make sure that I'm looking at all offers and thinking, well, is this good value for our shareholders, whatever they may be? And am I talking to other companies and getting them interested? Absolutely. That's my job as a CEO, to get out and tell the story. So I think maintaining that optionality, if you're just waiting to get bought out, you lose some of that upside. But the fact that we've got lots of value add, we can de-risk this project significantly, move it forward, and that just adds value. We started the baseline environmental work for permitting. That's a huge advantage. We started the metallurgy work. We're starting to think about the engineering and how we need to be designing it for the PEA that we plan to do next year to show what the economics are. We're already starting that work this year, because that's how you really optimize a project. And we're drilling, of course, and we've now understood where we've got some higher grade zones to follow up on, and that'll help us really target where could you find a higher grade starter pit or starter pits, and really make this project the most economic that it could be. So, this resource update in Q2 is a really exciting milestone for us, but it is a stepping stone, because we're moving this project forward very quickly, adding ounces every day with our drilling towards what will then go into our PEA for next year. So lots of news flow to come, and lots of exit options for us, and good value for shareholders.
It looks like exciting times ahead, not just the long term, but also in the near term as well.
Absolutely. And that's how you build a company. And you probably you see it in our share price now. And the gold stocks generally haven't been particularly in favor, but, we've managed to actually hit 52-week highs through the last couple of months, which not a lot of gold companies have, despite the world not really being interested in gold companies overall. And the price of gold is actually pretty good. I think in the inflationary environment, we're going to see more interest in gold, and certainly in gold companies and projects that have that multi-million ounce potential. You need to be 3 million ounce plus to be of interest, with great infrastructure, great jurisdiction. I think that's going to really set us apart as we come into the next year. There's lots of interesting projects out there that have less infrastructure, will be harder to develop. We're in a brownfield area with lots of existing infrastructure, so that's a big advantage for permitting.
Yes, so thank you for your time here with us, Tara, for sharing your story.
Thank you very much. Look forward to giving you an update in the next few months.
Definitely. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.